Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty bonnet. Now with this one, what I did is once I've made the bonnet, I just picked up 3 stitches and I made a little strap for it. And what I did once I thought the strap was long enough, I did single crochets across the 3 stitches, chain one and turn and done the same till I got to the end. I did 1 stitch, 2 chain and 1 stitch. And when I did 1 chain and turn, and I just crocheted over the top of it, and it gave me a little buttonhole. So I need to put a button on this one. Or what you can do is you can put the button up here, and you can actually just feed this through the bonnet and then button it around the baby's neck. Now the second option that I've got, this is really pretty, the second option, I'm going to show you how just to do 2 crochet straps. That way you don't need any buttons, you don't need any buttonholes, you don't need to sew any ribbon onto it, I'll show you how in the pattern how to put these little straps on that you're going to be able to tie under the baby's neck. And you put those on when you do that last crochet fan row, when you do that last row. Now this is the bonnet that goes with the hat, the fan and cross stitch hat. I did both of these with King Cole Finesse Cotton Silk DK. Now one 50-gram ball made one hat, and you'll see that in the video that cotton, 150-gram balls of this pure cotton made one hat. This is a weight 3 yarn. You can do it with double knitting, and you should be able to do a 3 to 6 months hat with 50 grams of yarn. And look at this. This hat is bigger than this one. This one was done with a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook, and I've done this one with a 3.5. So that's one size bigger, and I got a bigger bonnet. This one is due from birth to 3 months. This one is 3 to 6 months. So if you use a 4mm hook, I think that's a US 7, and put one extra round on, you would get a hat for a 6 to 12-month-old baby up to a year old. This is so pretty, so versatile as well. And also, once you've done this circle, you can put, and you've done this part, you can put any stitch here that you want. You can use that as a base to do any stitches on your hat as this body part. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So to do a magic circle, you're going to wrap the yarn around your fingers, or you can wrap it around your hand, it's up to you, and then cross it over. So you've got the tail end down here, and then just cross it over, put your hook under, and pull the yarn through. And then just chain one. And that'll hold it, and it's like you've got a little lasso here. I'm going to chain another 2 stitches, so I've got 1 chain there, and I'm going to chain another 2, that'll be 3. That counts as your first stitch. Now, in the UK, these stitches are called a treble crochet. But if you're in the USA or another country, it might be called a double crochet for you. So you're going to put your yarn over, and that's going to be counted as stitch 1. I'm going to put another 11 stitches in here. I'm going to do that 3 to 6 month size again. So I'm going to put 11 stitches in here. And that chain counts as your first one. So that one will be number 2. Another one, number 3, 4, 5. We need 12 all together. So it's 11 stitches plus the chain. That makes 12. Now you're going to pull your tail tight, and that's going to close it really tightly there. We're going to go in to that first stitch and do a slip stitch and close this round. Pull, so go through the stitch, pull your yarn through, and then pull it through that loop there. So we've got 12 stitches. Now we're going to put 2 stitches into each one, and we should have 24. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now into that same stitch, put 1 more. So we're going to increase by 12 stitches by putting 2 into each stitch. So 2 into the next stitch, 1 and 2, 2 into the next one. Now you can crochet along if you want to get your yarn and your hook. You can crochet along with me, and then just pause the video when you need to catch up and start the video again. So we're going to put 2 into the next one. Now when you do this circle of the bonnet, it gives you a base that you can actually do lots of different stitches and make lots of different bonnets. Just with this circle on the back. 2 into each stitch all the way around. Now we've already got 2 in that stitch, so we're just going to slip stitch and close our circle, and you should have 24 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So each round you do, you should be increasing by 12 stitches. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the third row. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to increase every second stitch this time. So that's my first stitch there. So into the next stitch, I'm going to put 2. So that belongs to there. So we're going to put 2 into the next one, 1 and 2. We're going to do 1 stitch, 1 into that one, and then increase in the second stitch, 1 and 2. You're going to do that all the way around. So 1 into the next stitch, and then 2 into the next stitch. 2 into that one, do an increase. So 1, and then increase in the second stitch, all the way around. So it's 1 and then 2 stitches, 1 and then 2. So 1 into that one, and 2 into this one. You're going to do that all the way around. 2. And then slip stitch to the top of that chain of 3 and close that round. Now, to avoid having a line running down the back of your hat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my increase first, then do 2 stitches and then an increase. And what that's going to do is going to stagger where my increases are, and you won't get those very defining lines in your bonnet. So do 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to increase, so put 1 in there. We'll do an increase first this time. And that helps to stagger that little line around a bit, and it's not so noticeable in your bonnet. So I've done my increase, and I'm going to do 2 stitches, 1 into the next stitch, and 1 into the next stitch, then 2 into this one. We're going to increase in the third stitch, so 1 into the next stitch, 1 into the next one, then increase in the third stitch, 1 and 2. So it's 1, 2, and then increase. So you're increasing in the third stitch. The next round you'll increase on the fourth stitch, and if you're going to do any other rounds before you do this back piece, you'll start with 12 stitches, then you'll put 2 into each stitch, then you'll do 1 and an increase, 1 and increase. The next row will be 2 increase, 2 increase, then 3 and an increase, 3 and an increase. And I've done for this 3 to 6 months, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. If you want a bigger hat, do 6 rounds or 7, and then, or you can use thicker yarn or a bigger hook. Each of those I'll give you a bigger size. So for each 6 months increase, add 2 rows, and that'll give you a bigger hat. And then I'll show you how to do that piece here to make this piece stand out like this, and you'll have that nice flat back on your bonnet. So I'm going to finish this round by doing 2 singles, 1 and 2, and then an increase. So if you're crocheting along, you can pause the video until you've finished your round, and then we'll start the next round. So I've done my increase and I've got 2 stitches. So remember, we started with an increase, so you'll have 2 stitches left. 1 and 1 in there, and join to the top of that chain. And you should have 30 stitches. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to lead 3 stitches and then increase, and I'm still trying to avoid that line that runs up so it's not noticeable in the bonnet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do 3 single stitches and then the increase. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, that's your first stitch. So 1 into the next stitch, that's the second stitch, and then do 1 into the next one, and that's my third stitch. So I've got 3 stitches, and then I'm going to increase all the way around. I'm going to do 3 single stitches, 1, 2 and 3, and then increase. 1 into the next one's 2, 1 into the next one's 3, and then do my increase. Right, 1 into the next one, 1 into the next one is 2, 1 into the next one is 3, and then do your increase. That's 2 stitches into the same stitch, and do that all the way around. So you'll do 1, 2, 3, then increase, 1, 2, 3, and increase. And the fifth row for this, the fifth and final row for this circle, you'll do 4, then increase, 4 and increase, 4 and increase. So I've done an increase and I've got my 3 stitches, and I'll have an increase left in the last stitch. 1 into the next one is 2, then 1 more into the next stitch is 3, and then I'll do my final increase. 2 into that one, then we'll finish the round. Start this one. So to start this round, I'm going to do a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do my increase into that same stitch. We'll do the increase first, and it's going to stagger that chain around a bit so it doesn't leave a very distinct line. So we've done the increase. Now we're going to do 4 stitches, 1 into each stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll do an increase. So 2 into that stitch, 1 and 2. Then we'll do 4 around, 1 into the next 4 stitches, that's 3 and 4. Then do your increase in that one. And that'll be the increases finished once we've done this round. So I'll continue with my 4 and increase, 4 and increase. And I'll come back and show you how to do this part here to make this back piece stick out like that. And I think I said I should have 72 by round 5. I'm going to count them just to make sure. So I've got 78, 1 and 2. So I've got 72 stitches around my little bonnet. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to do this part. You don't need to do this part if you don't want to. I'm going to put 1 into every stitch, but you don't need to do this one if you don't want to do this round. So what we're going to do is called front. We're going to do a stitch called front post treble. If you're in the USA, this is a front post double. We're going to go around the back. Put your hook around so the stitch is on the front of your hook. So just go in and feed it through the back like that. So you're going to put your yarn on, yarn around, and we're going through this first stitch, a little chain stitch there. Pull up, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over, and through 2 loops. Yarn over and go around the next one. And what that's going to do is it's going to make this round cut like that. So around, post, 1 and around each stitch, 1 around each stitch. And as you can see, it's making that one stand out. And then we'll do the pattern on these stitches here. So 1 around each stitch, all the way around. And that's going to make this part, it's going to make that stand like that and have this round at the back. It'll keep the shape better when it's on a baby's head. You can make these smaller for dolls as well. You can maybe do about 4 rounds for a doll. So I've gone around my stitches, and what I'm going to do is into that very first one, I'm going to slip stitch in. So what I want to do now is I want to start working on these stitches here. We went around the post and it pushed the top of the stitches to this side. You can see the top of the stitches here. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to take my hook out, put my hook in to the first stitch that's here, and I'm going to just pull that stitch through. just so that I'm starting there. You can cut the yarn and stitch it if you want. You can cut the yarn if you want. So I'm just going to catch a little bit on the bonnet and pull that yarn through and do a double crochet there. Just get yourself down to there. Now what we're going to do, so that's my first double crochet. We're going to start the pattern. And these are the stitches. You're going to pick up two parts of those stitches. You can see those stitches there. So we're going to count two stitches. There's a stitch there. So 1, 2, and into there we're going to build that fan of 9. So go into that stitch. So skip 2 and into that stitch do 9 UK treble crochets. That's double crochets if you're in the USA. So I've done 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and do a double crochet. That's a single if you're in the USA. Skip 2 and do the fan. So skip 1, 2, and put 9 UK treble crochets. That's double crochets if you're in the USA. Into that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Now you should get an even number going around here. Start in the very first stitch, then skip 2, build a fan, skip 2, double crochet, skip 2, build a fan. So if I've got 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure you've got 9. So skip 2, 1, 2, and do a double crochet. Skip 2 and do a fan all the way around. So I've done my last fan and I've got 2 stitches and one little one squished in there. I'm going to do my double crochet down just in to that little squishy space there. So I've got my first round done. Now we're going to do the second round of this pattern. And we're going to be turning and we're going to be working around that way and then back and around and back. So I'm going to chain 4, just like we did in the pattern for the blanket. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just skip a stitch and into the next stitch we're going to put a treble crochet. If you're in the USA, that's a double crochet into there. Now you're going to chain 2. Remember all these chain 2s, 1 and 2. Skip 2 stitches and do a double crochet. So skip 1 and 2 and do a double crochet into the top of that. Chain 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to do the crossover stitch. That cross stitch. We're going to go in to the second stitch in the fan, just like you did with the blanket. Now, if you haven't seen the blanket video for this, I'll leave a link at the end of the video and you can click on it and it'll take you to the blanket. So yarn over twice. We're going to do in the UK what's called a double treble. If you're in the USA, this is a treble stitch for you if you're in the USA. So go into the second stitch in your fan, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, chain 2, yarn over twice. Now we're going to work back 3 stitches. So skip 3, 1, 2 and 3. So you skip that stitch, the double crochet and first one of that band. So don't worry if your stitch is stretched a little bit here. So skip 1, 2 and 3 and go in to the second last stitch of your fan right through, pull your yarn right through and it'll trap that one in. Yarn over through 2 loops, then yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops and chain 2. You're going to skip 2 and do a double crochet into the top of your fan. Chain 2, yarn over twice and go into the second stitch of the fan, the next fan, so count 1 and 2 into the second stitch of the fan, do that long stitch, remembering chain 2, yarn around your hook twice and you're going to skip back 3 stitches back, 1, 2 and 3, and you're going in to the second last stitch. So from here it should be skip 2 down and you're there. If you're coming from here it's skip 3. So in to that stitch, do that long one, and this is making this crossed over stitch like this. It'll cross it over. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2 in the fan, skip 2 in the fan and work into the top. So we're going to skip 2 and work in to the top of the fan, the double crochet, chain 2, then we're going to do the cross stitch again. So yarn over twice into the second stitch of the next span, 1 and 2, and work that long stitch, chain 2, remember your chain 2s, yarn over twice and skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and go into the fourth stitch back, or it is skip 2 here and work into that one, whatever way you want to do it. Then chain 2, so from that stitch you're going to skip 2, 1, 2 and work into the top of there, chain 2, yarn over twice and into the first second stitch, so count 1 and into the second stitch, chain 2, and you can skip 3, 1, 2, 3 and go into the fourth stitch back. Oops, I never did my yarn overs. Done my chain 2, yarn over twice, or you can, if it makes it easier, from this top stitch you skip 2 and then go into that stitch there, if it makes it easier for you. Chain 2, so from this stitch that you've used, count 2, skip 2, 1, 2 and then go in the double crochet to the top of that fan, chain 2, 1, 2, and again we're going to go to the second stitch in this fan, 1, 2, into there, yarn over twice, do your cross stitch, chain 2, yarn over twice, and you can either skip 2 down and go into the third stitch, or skip 3 across and go in there. So it might be easier for you to remember from this stitch, 2 down and do your cross stitch. Chain 2, you're going to skip 2 to the top of the fan, chain 2, and work your way around your bonnet with this crossover stitch. Chain 2, you wrap it around twice, sorry. From this stitch, skip 2, and then into that third one down, then chain 2, from that stitch, skip 2, and double crochet. That's a single if you're in the USA. Chain 2, yarn over twice, into the second stitch of this span, chain 2, yarn over twice. From that one, skip down 2. Found it's easier to actually do that. Shows you learn something every day. Chain 2, skip 1, 2, and work into the top of the fan. Chain 2, wrap around twice. Are we at the end? Where's my end? Oh, we're down here. This is the end down here. So work your way around your hat with that cross stitch. So on that last one, that's my beginning here of the round. So I've done my chain 2, my double crochet and my chain 2. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put a treble crochet. So skip 2 stitches and go into that next one there. So we're going to do a treble crochet there. That's a double if you're in the USA. Now wrap your yarn around twice and into that last stitch there, put that long double treble in there. And that's your first round of your crosses done. So we're going to do a fan round again. So chain 1 and turn back around. And we're back on the right side of your hat. We're going to put a fan into the top of these ones. And to this cross in the middle, we're going to put a double crochet. Straight over there and do a fan of 9. 9 stitches in there to create a fan. Then straight over and double crochet. That's a single if you're in the USA. Build a fan and then do your small stitch in the middle of that cross one. So I've done my chain 1 and I turned now into that very first stitch there. You're going to do your double crochet. Now go straight over to this double crochet and build a fan. That's 9 stitches. 1, 2, I'm only running up and down the hole. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Make sure you do 9. Now go straight over to the chain 2 in between your crosses and do a double crochet. Straight over to this double crochet here and build another fan of 9. 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Now in between the cross stitch do a double crochet, and then you'll do a fan, a double crochet, a fan all the way around. And that's the 2 rows you'll keep repeating. Now I've done 5 on mine. If you're doing a bigger hat, you might need to do 6. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now before you get to that 5th fan row, when you've done your little cross stitches, after 1, 2, 3, 4, after your 4th fan, your 4th row of fans, and you do that cross stitch in between, then I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to add straps to this bonnet. It's going to save me for doing this or sewing on ribbon. And if you don't have buttons or anything, I'm going to show you how you can put a little tie on, and then you can just tie it under the baby's chin. So what I'm going to do before I start the next crossover round, I'm going to do a chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Enough that you think that if you could tie 2 of them into a bow. So what I'm going to do is, into the second stitch, I'm going to do a yarn over and do what's called a half treble crochet. If you're in the USA, this is a half double crochet. So go in, yarn over and into the second stitch and pull through all your loops. Yarn over into the next one and pull through all your loops. You're going to do that all the way down, and that's going to give you something to tie the hat on to the baby's head without having to put buttons and buttonholes, and without having to sew on ribbons. And that way you get a complete hat. So yarn over, one into each stitch all the way down with this half treble crochet if you're in the UK, and it's a half double crochet if you're in the USA. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go this double crochet down here. I'm just going to put another double crochet in there. So I'm going to, that gives us a little bit to tie around the baby's neck, and we'll do one at the other side. Once we've done this crossover row, we'll do the same again. So I'm going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the second stitch of the fan, we're going to do that treble crochet, just like we did in the other rows. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, skip 2, and do your double crochet into the top of the fan. Chain 2, and go over to the next fan into the second stitch. Do your yarn over twice, so into the second stitch of that fan, and we're going to do these crossover stitches. 1, 2, yarn over twice, and from that one we're going to go 1, 2, skip 2, and into the next stitch. It's a lot easier than, it doesn't really matter if you're going down this way, skipping 2 and into there, or skipping 3, 1, 2, 3, and going into there. And do the rest of the crossover, chain 2, and into the top of the fan, so it's skip 2 stitches and into the top of the fan. So what I'm going to do down here, because we need to start our tie from down here. On this one, I'm going to do one more treble crochet, and I'm going to chain my 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Now into each stitch a half treble crochet, that's a half double crochet if you're in the USA. And we're going into the second stitch here. So yarn over and in to that stitch and pull through all your loops, yarn over into the next stitch, one into each stitch, all the way down. So I finished my second strap. You just do it as long as you want to do it, as long as you've got enough to tie under the baby's chin. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the hat the right way around, and we're going to do the fan row, the last fan row. So into that stitch there, you're going to do a double crochet. That's a single crochet if you're in the USA. Now straight over to here, you're going to do your fan, then you're going to double crochet in the cross stitch, do a fan, double crochet, do a fan, all the way around, and your hat will finish with this. Now all we did different here is we put a strap on, and that's going to save you from doing buttons and buttonholes, doing these little straps, just to tie the hat on to the baby's head. So I'm going to do my fan. That's 9 stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You're going to double crochet into the cross, into that space, and then do a fan, double crochet in the cross stitch space, do a fan all the way along. And when we get down to here, I'll show you how to just neaten up this little neck piece. This is the back neck piece. So I'll work my way around the hat with the last round of these fans. Now if you're making a bigger hat, you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, you could do 5, then do your cross round, then add your straps. So you can do as many rounds of these fan and cross stitch as you want for your hat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slip stitch, pull a big stitch, and I'm just going to slip stitch across here. Make sure it's nice and slack. Pull your strap back, pull it back, and then do another slip stitch across to this stitch here. Slip stitch. Make sure you pull your stitch quite wide so you can get over to here. Now I'm just going to work my way along here. I'm going to put 2 in to the big gap and 1 into this sort of cluster here. 2 into the big piece, 1 into there. We're going to do a half treble crochet. A half treble crochet. So I'm going to start with a little chain 1. Now into there I'm going to do my first half treble. That's a half double if you're in the USA. I'm going to put 2 into this long chain, 1 and 2. This is going to neaten up the edge. I'm going to put 1 into this end of this little fan here and 2 into this space. It's going to neaten up the collar that will go around the back of the baby's neck. Just work my way down, 1 into there. I've got another sort of chain, that's the chains of 4. Put 2 in there. I'm going to put 1 into that space that's there. Just do it nice and even. I'm going to go over here and put 1 into this space. and then work my way up. I'm going to put one in here at the end of this fan. Will end up being in that stitch. Put two in here in that chain of four. One into this sort of cluster here, the bottom of the fan, in that little double crochet. I think that's a double crochet in there. We'll do our half trebles. These are half double crochets if you're in the USA. Two in the chain, one into the middle of here, two into that chain, and that should give you a really nice neat to the finish of the back of your hat. We're nearly finished this hat. Now you can rewind the video and watch it again. Now in that chain I'm still going to put two in there. One and two. And I'm going to do one into that little space there, and I'm going to do a little slip stitch. Just slip stitch it in as well. Then I'll cut my yarn and I'm going to sew in the ends, and that'll give you your little hat that's the same as that fan and cross stitch blanket. Now you've got a really nice neat back as well, doing that half treble. I will fix that out in a moment. And you've got this nice little ribbon here, a little crochet sort of ribbon to tie a little bow. You can make it bigger if you want, and that is you got your hat. Now you can buy trim and sew some trim in around there. Put a little bow on the back if you want. You can make it all nice and pretty if you want. But once it's on the baby's head, it'll be so pretty. Look at that, that is so pretty. Now I think with this one I used a 2.5 hook and I've used a 3.5. So this hat is slightly bigger than this one. As you can see, this one is slightly bigger. That was done with a 2.5 crochet hook, and this one was done with a 3.5. It shows you the difference in the size that it makes your bonnet. So that is how you make these really pretty little bonnets. They're absolutely beautiful. Give it a try. Just rewind the video and follow along if you want. Just click on the pause, and then that way you can catch up with the video, turn it back on and do some more, and then pause it, catch up and do some more. And that way, once you've done one of these, you'll be able to do lots of different colours in it. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you click on the bell icon, YouTube will tell you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.